So director Edward Zwick's been around for a while now, and he's made some great movies too. Movies like Blood Diamond, The Last Samurai, Pawn Sacrifice, Defiance. And with a resume like that, you'd expect this thing to be in capable hands. And the writers on this have both written some good stuff too. Things like Precious, The Lost City of Z, and The Old Man and the Gun. And then we get to the cast, which includes people like Laura Dern and Jack O'Connell. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen the movie 71, you should definitely check it out. But the story here is based on real events, and it's a pretty compelling story too. About a man in Texas back in '91 who's accused of burning down his house and killing his kids. So kind of a grim setup there, and not exactly a main character you necessarily want to root for. However, he claims he didn't do it, and he's pretty clear on that part. But is that gonna save him, or is he gonna face the death penalty? And what does the evidence actually say, and what does the jury think of a potential child killer? Well, that whole legal case and how this guy deals with the situation is basically at the heart of this story. And Laura Dern's character gets involved a little bit later too. And you know, this thing had the ingredients of a really good movie. But for some reason the reviews I saw floating around didn't look good. And having seen it now, I have to agree with those to some extent. Because it's definitely not a great movie, but I would still call it good. However, there is something a little bit off about it, something that didn't quite work. And I had some trouble trying to figure out what exactly the issue was. Because it had this intangible TV movie quality about it, especially in the beginning. But here's the thing, when I tried to analyze the individual parts to find the problem, most of them really aren't that bad. I mean, with a cast like this, the acting's not gonna be an issue. And both of the leads did a great job making me care about these characters. And it's a very decent looking and competently shot movie too. And as I said, the story is compelling, and even the dialogue was pretty good, sometimes really good. But for some reason, it still didn't quite work, and I think the main issue is the editing. And the score too. The score felt pretty generic, to be honest. And I think those two combined somehow made this feel a little bit shaky. But yeah, that's not to say it's a bad movie by any means. It's absolutely very watchable, and especially after that first part, when the story's been properly set up and established, and you start to actually get to know these characters, it got a lot better. And by the end of it, I was absolutely invested and at the edge of my seat. Just sitting there wondering what's gonna happen next and how is it gonna end. Obviously because I wasn't familiar with this particular story before. So I didn't know where it was going. I had some ideas, but I couldn't be sure. And it did keep me guessing too, almost until the very end. So I thought that part was well handled too. Some great build-up and suspense here. Now, if you do know this story, you'll know where it's going. And that suspense probably isn't gonna be as effective. But for me, as the uninformed individual that I am, it worked. And overall, I enjoyed this a fair bit, even though it was kinda shaky here and there. But I'd say the performances, the dialogue and the character writing made up for most of those issues. However, it is far from flawless, and it did feel a bit like a TV movie. So how about it? Would I recommend it? Maybe. Why not? It's not bad, but I guess there are better movies to watch instead. So maybe check it out, maybe don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you liked the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.